Hey, welcome back. Today we're in the workshop here, and got a quick little project I wanted to bring to you guys, and it's something that I purchased on Amazon. And I have been looking for a cant hook, a log turner, whatever you want to call it, a log lift, all that. So it's in this box here. We're going to go ahead and put this thing together and give it a quick try. Not sponsored, nothing. I got this, I paid for it with my own money. I want to go ahead and give this one a try. It was something that I've been looking for. And there were several different kinds, and this particular one caught my eye and kind of thought it was unique in its own way. And this is the Woodchuck Dual Pro. So after researching on YouTube and seeing others that had these things and how they use them and all that, I thought, man, that's kind of what I'm looking for. So let's go ahead. It comes as you see it here in the box. You do have to do some assembly, and I kind of got a kick out of some of the other videos that they put out on this and said that these instructions were terrible and yada, yada, yada. I guess my opinion is they're only terrible if you don't read them. Even the pictures show you good enough as to what should be done, and then it explains rather nicely in there. It is American made, so I do prefer that. But either way, it was one that I thought was unique, and I want to give this thing a try. The only thing you need is two 9/16 wrenches or a 9/16 wrench in a socket, whatever. But this top bolt here gets removed so you can put the hook portion in that. One of the other videos I watched, for some reason the guy took this off to put that on, and then he put it on backwards. He put it out here, and you need that to be on top of that to keep that from pushing away. It goes on the outside, and they even show that in the instructions there. This goes on there next. That in, and then put that back on. And then the bolt goes back on. All right, so now I got it all together. And if you want to turn this thing into a log lift, is you pull out this special clip. And I've never seen any of these clips like this. You got to pull them sideways across that. Slide this right into that hook. Put your pin back through, special clip back on that, and there you go. Now you have a log lift. I wanted to be able to roll a log and also lift it up. So that's what's neat or unique about this Woodchuck log lift. And like I said, I got it on Amazon, and one of the good things is, made in USA. And for comparison, I ran over to Adam's house and grabbed his log rate cant hook or PV or whatever the heck you want to call them. I wanted to just do a real quick comparison on the two. This is also aluminum. This bracket here is welded onto that. There's welds down here, so I'm not saying it makes it better or worse. I'm just saying that if anything should ever happen to this, it can be taken off. But in comparison, they're both very close to the same weight. When you add that on, it makes the Woodchuck one a little bit heavier, or front heavy, I should say. And some of the differences here that you notice right off the bat is this has got a post to where you can actually stuff it into the ground so you can find it easily or whatever. And that is one thing I noticed with this one. You know, you can't just take and shove that into the ground and leave it where it's at. You have to lay it down. Does that make it good or bad? It's only up to you if you have trouble finding things where you lay them down at. But that is one nice thing about this. One downside to this is this cannot be removed and still use the hook portion of this, because this bracket is part of holding the hook portion on, where this doesn't have that lower bracket. Will this get in the way for doing log rolling off the pile? It may, I don't know, but you do not use this on it when you're trying to roll logs off the pile. You just use it as it is there, the same as you would this, or if you're using it on a sawmill, and that's mainly what Adam uses this for, is over on a sawmill. But occasionally when he's rolling logs in the wood yard, we'll use that, and that's kind of what I got this for, so we can roll logs in the wood yard, and also that I can add this jack stand to it here, so when I want to roll the logs back to give them a place to cut, to keep the tips of the saw out of the dirt. And if you were to take and put these two together where the hook points pivot, you can see that when you bring these back to an upright position, you can see the difference. The log-right hook is about 2.5 inches further back from the woodchuck hook point. But what's neat about the woodchuck is it's got those 2 points that it will bite in, whether it bites into this one or this one based on the log diameter. So the woodchuck one is actually more beneficial for smaller and bigger logs, where the log-right is it accommodates just for a certain size. It's got this little tab that's on here. That's also to grab a hold of to pull that hook back out once you release it out of the log, where the log-right doesn't have that. Again, it's not a comparison video. It's just I wanted to show this one because a lot of you guys are familiar with the log-right. A lot of you guys do use that. And this particular one here, I don't see it used very often. And hopefully I'm going to really like that. So, like I said, let's get outside. Just kind of wanted to show you the difference between the two. And it all depends on what would work for you, whether you're looking for a log lift or whether you're just looking solely for a log turner. These are close to being the same price. I believe this one was, the log-right was about $110 and this was about $160. But it does give you the additional option of the log lift, and we'll go over that here in a minute. So I did want to show you that, you know, both of these, let me set this one out of the way, but both of these actually will turn and roll the log. Now you got to get this to where it bites in with the hook on the back, and then the little point on the front there bites. If you want to take, and let's say you've gone and cut saw marks all the way through, but you didn't go into the dirt or whatever, and you just want to roll your log to get to your next cuts and all that. So there's what this one will do. And this is solely for turning logs, rotating them. Get your cut about 99% of the way through, and you can rotate your log over. But why I wanted that woodchuck one is because it is a true log stand as well. And I'll take that end point off and show you. So if I was going to compare the two solely as log turners, and like I showed you, we pull this pin out here. That's the only downside is you just don't want to lose these pins. But put it back in and put your pins back on so you don't lose it. So there, now I can compare this particular one with this one. There's a couple things with this that I don't like compared to this, and let me show you. So having this pick point in the end of that sharpened point there, it gives a place for that secondary piece to hook onto to turn it into the log lift, where this one you cannot do that. But the nicest thing I liked about this thing, and I guess I didn't even realize it when I was looking into them or purchasing them because I hadn't seen anybody talk about it, is when you're not using this, you either have to lay it on your log, it's laying on the ground or somewhere. When you're done using this, you can stab it right into the ground. And man, is that a nice feature to have that thing anywhere you want it. So you're done turning the log, spin around, just stab it into the ground. And it's where you need it, where you want it. That's what's nice about that. It's up, it's visible. It's not getting covered with sawdust. It's not getting rolled over with logs, becoming hidden and all that. So now that we've gone over the log-right and this one as log turners, and with this one keep in mind also that it locks onto the log and you can turn it just as the log-right did. So we talked about these teeth and their different sizes here. I can slide this down over the log, and I talked earlier about these teeth, these inner teeth here. So when this bites over on this side over here and you pull, it literally starts pulling into the teeth on that side, and it grips extremely well. So it makes it really, really nice that these are not slipping out on you, that those bite in. And I've got two options based on the size of the log. So anyhow, we can get this in there. But now let's get to the one thing that I like the most about this, and the reason that I personally bought this was because it's a log lifter as well. So we go back to the front jack stand portion of it. Pop the pin out, put it back on. So now I've got a log lift or log stand or whatever you want to call it, log jack, where the log right and the other PV type log log tools don't do, and this is the log lift. So I'm going to move the log right out of the way. And again, that's what you got to do with those things. You got to throw them on the ground because you know, they don't stand up on their own. Now this one, will it stand up on its own? Yeah, kinda. If it's on uneven ground, when the stand's on it, it still stands up, but it could be on the side or uneven ground and it will fall down. But if you're on flat ground, for the most part, it will stay up on its own with that second stand on there. So let me get to this this twisted up, ugly old cherry here in what makes it nice. And again, going back to the viewer that said, hey, how do you keep your chain sharp? And what do you do? Well, these log stands for cutting the logs are super nice for keeping your chain out. So let's go ahead and we'll get this on here. I've got this secondary leg on there, and I'm going to go ahead and I rotate this back, and I'm pulling it towards myself. So go ahead and give it a good pull. And now you can see that it goes up and it stays up off the ground. Now I can go in through here and I can cut where I need to cut. And once I've gotten to this point, I can then go ahead and move it down. All right, so I got my log marked. It's up off the ground, and I'm just going to use a little electric saw here real quick. So there's the benefit. The heavier end down there, and as I cut through that, it was up off the ground about an inch, so it keeps the saw out of the dirt. So now I can go ahead and cut this, this, and that. So we'll go ahead and get that done real quick, and then I'll show you how we can go ahead and manipulate the rest of this. Again, not sponsored, just found a tool that I like, so I wanted to bring it to you guys. All right, so here's another advantage. I've got this really crooked cherry here, and I want to be able to cut this without it being into the dirt and all that. So I can grab this thing on that side, roll it and flip it up, and cut off these two sides and cut off that side, and kind of go back and forth and balance it to keep the weight distribution over the center of this. And that's another good way to keep your saw out of the dirt. So I guess what this video is really about is I was looking for something to take the time out of resharpening chains when I really want to be out here cutting wood. I've got a 25-inch bar on my saw, and it takes forever. Nice day, you want to come out and cut. You don't want to come out and sharpen saw. So let's go ahead and get this thing put to use to where I'm going to grab this kind of where I think it's somewhat balanced, try to get it up into the air, and see how well this works. And now we're on about, I'm going to say close to 20-inch diameter here, and I honestly don't even know if this thing's going to bite in, but we'll go ahead and give it a try. So now I got the back set. I'm just going to give it a little kick to make sure it doesn't roll out on me. Get this thing up a little bit. I'll move my saw here so I don't accidentally roll it on it, but so let's see what happens. Get that up there, and now I'm off the ground down here on this end, and I'm off the ground on that end. So it's just kind of a balancing act of which side you cut on and where you want to try and keep the balance of that log. So I've got my low electric saw out here. I'm not going to be cutting through this big round here, but just to show you what this woodchuck is capable of doing, and it is exactly what I was looking for. So I guess all in all, when you're trying to decide what you want, whether you want a log PV, a log lift, a log turner, there's like dozens of names for these things. I guess have a good understanding of what you really want that tool to do for you. Do you want to just roll logs off a pile? Do you want to just roll logs on your sawmill? Then yeah, a log lift or a log turner or a log peavy, this is kind of what you're after. But I really wanted something that I could lift logs off the ground while I'm cutting through these on the piles there. So that woodchuck is nice in its own right. Now keep in mind, they make these with a platform on them that you can roll up, and they are a log lift, but generally they stay on there as well for the most part. Where this woodchuck is, you can remove that. You can remove this here and just use it as a log turner. You can put it on and you can use it as a log lift. So that's the universal portion of that I liked. And I would have to say that when I'm not using it as a log lift, I'm just using it as a log turner, one of the nicest things with this is I don't have to go around looking for it laying on the ground. Poke it in and you're good. It's up there where you can see it. So if you like this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. We'll keep doing more stuff like this. I got a lot of wood I got to get cut up and split up. We'll get to those videos as well. But again, not a sponsored video. Just bringing this to you guys if you're not sure what you want. So thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.